Hey y'all, how's it going? I am Joy, that is Steve, and this is the NFL Pick Ems Versus for Week 2.
Yeah, we survived a tremendous week there with lots to talk about.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to unpack. I actually was a smart for a change, and I made some commentary notes in my NFL document so that I can actually, remember what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a switch for me. I'm going to try to be a little more professional. But speaking of being professional, I have some things that I need to clarify and make right before we jump into our Week 1 recap. So
Okay.
first of all, this is actually Season 5, not Season 4.
Mm-hmm.
John did the bestie thing and let me know that I was wrong. It turns out what I did is I went back over my playlists of the podcasts that we do, and I was stupid, and I didn't make a playlist for the 2022 season. So when I was counting my seasons up, I miscounted and only gave myself 3 instead of the 4 that we actually did. And second, once again, I was dumb, and I didn't include 2 of Dean's picks on his sheet, and I didn't notice until it was too late. Mm-hmm. So he went with the Bengals and the Seahawks for Week 1. That's on
Sorry,
me.
Dean.
Yeah, my bad. Week 1, I'm going to try to be a lot more professional about this going forward. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and kick it over to the standings, because we have quite the spread. We have John in first place with a record of 13-3. He did very well in Week 1. Steve, myself, and Buff are tied at 12-4 for second place. SDS, Papa Agron, and the newcomer Draz are tied for third with 11-5. Beegers is all by his lonesome with 10-6 as a record. And then we have Troll, Rev, Dean, and Owl at 8-8.
At least they're above the 500 mark.
Exactly. So they technically shot 500, nice and even. Well done. Yeah. If you look to the right on our screen, you can see that we have alone games and unanimous decisions. Given that there are 12 competitors, I don't expect to be having a lot of unanimous decisions. Currently, we have 0. And then the alone games, we have a record of 1-4, because we had 5 alone games in Week 1, and only one person won their alone game. And that was Buff when he chose the Patriots over the Bengals.
Way to go, Buff.
Yeah, so good on you for picking that upset, because none of us did. But now, that being said, why don't we get into our Week 1 recap and kind of go over some of the games that were really, really interesting. So what would you have as your game of the week?
Yeah, I'm not going to pick your game of the week because that's so obvious there. I'm going to go with for my game of the week, I'm going to pick the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. That was a great finish to that there. The Chiefs barely won the game by a toe.
Yes.
No less.
Oh, I was so heartbroken for Isaiah Likely and the flock, pretty much, because they had that game won. And by a toe, they ended up losing it. And you can't even say anything really negative about that, because he clearly was out, so it wasn't some kind of like shenanigans that ended up costing them the game. Although, did you happen to catch the controversy out of that game on the Chiefs side?
No, I never.
Okay, so Steve Spagnuolo called timeout, and only the head coach is allowed to call timeout for the respective teams. But the referees allowed Kansas City's DC to call it anyway. Yeah. And we still had the play stoppage, and there was no penalty for it at all. So I can see people being upset by that for sure. I don't know how much it really impacted the game and the final outcome, but it does definitely add more fuel to the fire that is Kansas City favoritism. So I'm kind of curious what what you think about that.
I was shocked there that they allowed his timeout there, because I think next time referees should be more vigilant there to watch for timeouts there, and if any other one like defensive coordinators or even the quarterback there decides to call a timeout, give them like a penalty like 5 yards or even 15.
Right, yeah. I mean, I do think that the quarterback should be allowed to call one because they can see things on the field that the coach maybe can't, so they would be able to call your timeout. Like, I don't like the look of that. Call it, go talk to your coach. But the DC is not allowed to by rule of the NFL. And the fact that the referee knew that, I would assume, because, like, how are you going to be a referee and not know the rules of the game that you are supposed to be enforcing? So I do think that there should be some kind of penalty for that. I don't know if it should be something as far as yardage goes. I'm thinking maybe a loss of down, loss of time on the clock, or a loss of timeout if there is one available. But I did want to bring that up because it was definitely a head scratcher of a moment. So for me, I mean, I guess I have to go with the only overtime game of the week to be the game of the week. It's a little obvious. I was kind of hoping, not gonna lie, that you would take that because I have another thought in mind. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Lions game as game of the week because it was a really good homestand. Jameson Williams had himself a day finally. I was a little disappointed that Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Sam Laporta didn't get their touches as much as I felt like they should have from a fantasy perspective because they kind of cost me a lot of points in that one. But I'm really happy for JMO. And the overtime, when Detroit just decided, you know what, we're going to run this ball down your throat and dare you to stop us, and the Rams couldn't, that made me so happy. And I love David Montgomery.
Had to come down to overtime after the two teams' big games last year.
Yeah, exactly. I was honestly worried that the Rams are going to win that one, and then we would be forced to have a tiebreaker in the playoffs. And I'm happy that the script writers weren't actually, in full swing yet, for the sake of the story. But I'm fully expecting some more things to come. I'm disappointed with Stafford and how he handled the loss. Blaming things, coming up with excuses for why he threw interceptions in the end zone and stuff like that. I just, he's not that gritty blue collar player anymore. I think he's gotten soft since he's went to California, and I think it kind of showed in that game. And I hope that I'm wrong, and I hope that he can prove me wrong going forward. But where I sit right now, I think honestly we're better off not having him here, just because he is older and apparently pretty soft now. So that's just this one Pride member's opinion. All right, so now that we got that done, how about your shock of the week?
Yeah, obviously, I'll have to go with the shock that most people didn't see coming. That was the Patriots beating the Bengals there.
Yeah, that was really, really good. I was honestly very happy for New England. And then I was immediately also disappointed because they weren't playing Drake May. They were playing Jacoby Brissett, and I was sad because I was really happy that, Drake May is doing so well. I love this score. What a game. And he wasn't it.
You just don't want to throw the rookie into the fire right away there.
Right, and I get that. I mean, it clearly didn't work out in Denver doing that, so unfortunately for them, little Bo Picks is definitely going to have some fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that the Patriots came out to play, and the Bengals are the Bengals in week 1. And I mean, I think everybody just bought into the Joe Burrow hype. I don't think that Joe Burrow is actually 100%. He was feeling his wrist a lot during that game, and so I don't know that he was fully healthy to go. And I don't know, I'm just kind of sad about that. So since you took that game for your shock, this gives me the perfect opportunity to talk about the Jets game. Because my surprise isn't that Aaron Rodgers played bad.
Yeah.
It was that he got pulled from the game because they played so bad.
True.
I guess that his fragile ego and reputation just couldn't be damaged and him actually be on the field for the entire game, knowing that he was losing 32-19. But that was definitely something that surprised me after the game, because I was watching Tom Grossi, and he was doing his Monday Night Football, if it was scripted thing. And he brought up that Aaron Rodgers was going to be pulled because he was losing so bad. And I'm like, wait, that actually happened? So I went and I read some articles on it, and sure enough, with 4 minutes left in the game, they pulled him and sent out Tyrod Taylor. So I'm very surprised. And also, for you guys listening, if you're not subscribed to Tom Grossi, you kind of should be. He's making a push for 1 million subs before he moves to Wisconsin, and I would love to see him get that goal. So, plus the content is just really, really, really fun and amazing. So, go check him out if you haven't already. But so what were your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers' performance and the fact that Allen Lazard was their best wide receiver, even though they have Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, obviously they're the Jets. They're they were going to be okay, but not good enough to beat the Niners. Obviously, there that day.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, to be fair, I think they were going to lose regardless of how well Aaron Rodgers played. I was just heavily disappointed that he didn't even finish the game. But it is pretty funny because this means that he has yet to finish an entire game in a Jets uniform. So he still hasn't played a full game. Which, you know, as a Lions fan makes me very happy because we do not like Aaron Rodgers in this house, and anytime he doesn't do well, it's a good night for us. So we can move on over to our third of the week game, and we have the regret of the week.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Well, with me there, obviously I'm going to take the Giants there. Huge disappointment there against the Vikings there.
Sam Darnold, have yourself a day. What the heck? It was such a good revenge arc. I'm really happy.
True.
Although I will say it was just the Giants, so.
Yeah. By the way, did you see the Giants' 100th anniversary uniform?
No, I didn't.
It is so ugly there. I thought they copied the design off the Montreal Canadiens hockey team there.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go get a photo of that. I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of jerseys that are questionable.
Yeah.
But I think when you have like something as monumentous as a 100-year anniversary, you should kind of, pull out all the stops here. And if it's going to be that bad and that ugly, oof. I feel really bad for New York because, one, that they have Daniel Jones, right? And they paid him so much money, and he hasn't done anything, really.
Yeah.
That
and them losing Saquon Barkley there pretty much sank the team this year.
Right, and I think what makes it worse is that not only did they lose Barkley, but they lost him to a division rival who used him to maximum efficiency. And it really shows like how good he can be when you put a decent team around him where he doesn't have to try to do everything on his own. And that's something that the Giants are failing to do with Daniel Jones as well. Like, I don't think that he's a horrible quarterback. He's by far not elite, but he's not bad. I think he could be like easily like a Sam Howell level of talent if you would have given him pieces. But all they have really is neighbors on the offensive side of the ball, as far as I know.
Yeah.
So like they're gonna struggle a lot, and I hope for the best, but it ain't pretty.
No.
Speaking of things that aren't pretty, though, we have Atlanta as my regret of the week, because honestly, I should have known better. I always have issues with Atlanta. They are my bane of the NFC for a freaking reason, and I didn't trust that.
Obviously, we both rode in on the Kirk Cousins bandwagon, and it blew up in our faces.
Yeah, you could definitely say that. But speaking of blowing up in faces, we have a short of the head coach of Atlanta basically saying that they are not going to let TJ Watt dominate this game.
TJ Watt is a game wrecker of sort, and I am not going to let him go out there and wreck the game.
Back to the ground. It's Robinson who gets blown up by TJ Watt. And miscommunication there at the timing. It deflected off of the motion man. And TJ Watt's on top of it. They're coming. They get to Cousins. It's Watt wreaking havoc again.
TJ Watt went out to absolutely dominate that game. So it never goes well when you try to call his bluff or when you mention him by name or something. So, yeah, that didn't pan out very well for him. And also, this is my regret of the week because I didn't trust in my Watt fandom as I should have. I should have trusted the Steelers defense to do Steelers defense things, and I did not do that. So, yeah, that's definitely my regret of the week. So finally, in our recap segment, we have the disappointment of the week. Do you have any thoughts on what that's going to be? Because we've already covered a lot of games here, so you can choose a team, officiating, a player, just anything that was truly disappointing for you.
Yeah, obviously it's Cleveland Browns there. They laid a goose egg there against the Cowboys there.
Yeah, they lost 33-17, and I think some of that 17 points were pity points, to be fair. I think Dallas kind of let them get a little bit ahead to chew up some clock so that they could come back and dominate in time of possession once they got the ball again. Deshaun Watson, just in general, is a disappointment. On the field, off the field, his existence, it's just disappointing. My disappointment of the week is going to be the Titans and Bears game.
Yeah.
But more importantly, my disappointment is just Will Levis. He gets that honor. Not the team, not the offense, not the defense. Will Levis himself. He is the disappointment. Because there's a special reason for that. So, I talked about needing to have a thirst influence when I was making my picks because sometimes I just get torn and I can't decide. So I needed something to kind of sway my decision. And so John and I were talking, and it was determined that Will Levis could be that guy for a variety of reasons that you can see in the conversation on screen. But literally 1 to 2 days later, the very first time he stepped foot on that field during the regular season, he literally throws the game away and gives the Bears the win. And that, honestly, for me, was just the biggest of disappointments. It would have been different if it was literally any other team. But you gave the Bears the win. That is such a sin in this house. So, are you ready to head on in to week 2?
Okay, let's turn the page to week 2 then.
Yep. First up, we have Thursday Night Football. AFC East battle when the Bills go to the Dolphins.
Yeah, this was a whirlwind week for the Dolphins there. It started on game day morning when Tyreek Hill got arrested for no reason there.
Yeah, I don't really know exactly what happened on that. From what I understand, he was speeding into the parking lot and they arrested him for that. And then he tried to roll the window up when they were trying to talk to him. So he was being a little bit, maybe not as good as he could have been as somebody who was being pulled over. But at the same time, I also get it. But
to me, it's like what happened earlier this year with that golfer, Sky Scheffler there.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it kind of does have a similar vibe to it, just more of a higher profile, because this is the NFL and it was the day of the game, right? So it was definitely interesting, but it didn't really seem to hamper his performance any. So, that's good.
That's good, yeah. And obviously the Bills were the Bills last week. They're dominating Arizona there.
Honestly, though, for a lot of that game, the Bills kind of scared me. I gotta be honest, because they let Arizona hang around for a bit. And I don't know if it's because Arizona's actually better than they used to be, or if the Bills are kind of going to struggle a little bit offensively and defensively, getting their team kind of stripped apart. But I'm kind of leaning towards the latter, and I wasn't very impressed with them.
Yeah. But for me, they're this week, I'm going to go with the Dolphins at home to beat the Bills there, and so I won't get fooled again there like I did last week.
Yeah, ain't gonna fool me again. Yeah, exactly. I'm in agreement with that. I'm going with the Dolphins as well. Mostly, I don't trust the Bills right now with how they handled Arizona, and I think that Miami's offense is so high powered that as long as their defense can just literally stop the Bills once or twice, and then the offense of Miami can kind of step it up and they can be one tick ahead, I think they're going to have the advantage there. So I'm taking Miami at home as well.
True.
All right, next up. Speaking of the advantage, we have Dallas at home, which they always play well in Jerry World, hosting New Orleans.
Yeah. Obviously, the big story last week was Dak got his money.
He did. And also, I would just like to thank Jerry for making me look like an idiot on video, because I literally said that he was not going to do it, and he was going to be foolish if he didn't, but he's Jerry, so he won't. Although, admittedly, he was still pretty foolish for letting it drag on so long, because they could have saved themselves millions if they would have locked him up in February.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunate, but good on him.
Yeah, but I'm happy he got his contract there, and we don't have to worry about that for another 4 years.
Yeah, I'm happy too, because it was going to be very interesting in the off-season if he did not, and quite frankly, I don't need that headache. We had a hard enough time with the coaching carousel in the off-season for this year. I don't need a Dak carousel for this off-season, so I'm very happy that we got that all locked up and locked down. Mm-hmm. And then their game last week, of course, against a fairly decent defense of Cleveland was really good. So I'm excited for this game. I think it'll probably be closer than we think.
True. Yeah. Obviously, Saints came out guns a-blazing last week, but bear in mind it was against the Carolina Panthers.
Right.
They are the biggest disappointment in the league this year.
Exactly. Yeah. They dominated a team that's barely a team. So like I do give them credit for playing well. They ran the ball very well. Their defense was good. Derek Carr felt good. He looked good. Mm-hmm. I would have liked more out of Chris Olave personally, but I mean, when you have a solid run game the way that they do, you don't really need to air it out quite as much, which is really nice. But I will say that this is going to be a huge test for them, and if they can somehow knock off Dallas at home in Dallas's home opener, league changer. This is honestly going to change not only the conference but the league, because it shows Dallas's weaknesses.
True.
But personally, I'm taking Dallas because I don't see them losing their home opener.
Yeah. 100% agree there. Yeah. That's no-brainer there.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The Dak show there, as far as I'm concerned, maybe a huge blowout there.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, again, I think it's going to be closer than we expect, but I am taking Dallas with an asterisk of I'm hoping for New Orleans. I really am. Mm-hmm. All right, so next up then, we have Tampa Bay baking on in and coming to Ford Field to take on the Lions.
Yeah. Obviously, with the BUCS, they came out big there, but bear in mind, it was against the Commanders there.
Right, it was a rookie QB and kind of trying to feel his way out. If I'm not mistaken, there were some issues coaching-wise on Washington's side of the ball. I've seen a little bit of scuttle about that, so that's going to be kind of interesting to see how that progresses throughout the season. But, I mean, I really don't have anything much to say on that game. Tampa did Tampa things. Baker did well. Mike Evans is Mike Evans. I will admit that they could have dominated a little bit better, and I'm concerned that Washington was in the game as much as they were, because honestly, if Washington hadn't missed those 2 field goals, which again, I don't know why they got rid of Joey Sly from last year, because he was fine. The BUCS didn't play amazing against Washington. And I would just be concerned that they're going to be a little arrogant going forward, having that kind of 37-20 performance in week 1, and the fact that Baker played well and the defense was good. So, like, I would be concerned that they're going to be a little arrogant.
Sure. Yeah. But for me this week, this one's a no-brainer for me. I'm going to go with your favorite team, the Detroit Lions, there to correct the mistakes they made against the Rams. Hopefully learn from it there and go on a big run there.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that we do not have another overtime game, because I can't handle that again. Please, just lock this down and put the baby to bed like at the half, and I'll be happy. But I'm in agreement with you, and I'm taking the Lions. Now, we do have a small thing to talk about for the next game, when we have the Colts going to Green Bay, who are without Jordan Love for roughly at least 4 weeks, possibly as high as 6, with an MCL sprain.
Yeah.
So that was rough. That was definitely a rough game. We didn't even talk about the fact that Brazil was as rough as it was, but it was also to be expected.
True. Yeah. Obviously, with the Packers, their loss of Love is going to hurt them a lot there.
Yeah, it is. The Packers for the next few weeks is going to be the Malik Willis and Josh Jacobs ground game. So I don't know how good Indy is from a run defense aspect. I tried to look that up, but I couldn't really find any information that I needed. But I definitely expect Green Bay to do a lot of run plays, because Malik Willis is not horrible, I don't think. I don't think he really ever got a fair shake in Tennessee.
True.
But I definitely don't expect them to air it out. So
no, yeah. But for me, this is a no-brainer there. I'm going to take the Colts on the road to beat the Packers there.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really have a whole lot of faith, because I could easily see Josh Jacobs running all over them and running the score up, and the Packers defense probably could stifle Anthony Richardson, but I'm also in agreement, and I'm going to go ahead and take the Colts, but I'm not feeling good about the pick. Next game. Perfect segue. Speaking of not feeling good, we have the game that I'm just the most not looking forward to. We have the Jets going to Tennessee. So we have the Aaron Rodgers-led Jets team that I love to boo, and Will Levis, who let me down in week 1.
True.
That's great, you know? One quarterback I want to like, one that I absolutely don't like.
True. Obviously, Titans there are going to be a stinker of a team this year.
You know what? I am going to hold out hope. I really am, because Tony Pollard played well. I start him in fantasy as well on one of my leagues, and he did pretty decent. It wasn't Derrick Henry levels production for Tennessee by any means, but again, that's to be expected. If Will Levis can just calm the heck down and play smart, they'd be a decent team. They've reloaded, they added some good pieces on defense, their offense is okay, and it can definitely click. He just needs to calm himself down, take a breath, show some poise in the pocket, and knock this thing down.
But for me this week, I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers finally gets his first big win there, and we'll beat the Titans there.
You know what? I wanted to, because I do definitely see it going that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't do it. I can't make myself do it. Yeah. So I'm taking the Titans, and I'm going to trust Will Levis one more time. Because here's the thing. If you lose 2 weeks in a row to the Bears and Aaron Rodgers, then I have to reevaluate my potential future allegiance to him. So he has a chance to not be a disappointment.
Yeah. So you're taking the Titans out of spite.
Kind of, yeah. It's spite and hope at the same time. So, from one Monday night team to another, we have the 49ers, who were very, very dominant, going into Minnesota, who was surprisingly dominant.
Yeah, the Vikings surprised me for some reason there.
Yep, I liked Aaron Jones. Sam Darnold Revenge Tour is a go. Justin Jefferson's always good. So that they could be something.
Yeah, and obviously the Niners there, they won the game last week without Christian McCaffrey there.
Which honestly, doesn't that just show how bad the Jets are? Like, the Niners didn't even have their star in McCaffrey, so they were losing a lot of production. They were starting a running back who didn't even know that he was going to start until days prior.
Yeah.
So, like, the Jets just let them dominate them. So, what say you for this game? Because I do think that Minnesota is going to present an interesting challenge, a different challenge than the Jets did.
They could if Sam Darnold had the game, but unfortunately, I'm going to go with the Niners there to make it 2-0.
Yeah, I actually agree. I think this was kind of the week that the Vikings were expecting to lose. I think most people are going to expect the Vikings to lose, but, honestly, good luck. I hope that they can pull it out, but I am going to go ahead and trust my boy, Brock Purdy, see if McCaffrey is healthy, and trust my second boy, McCaffrey, to do well on the 49ers. So I agree with you there. The next game we have is potentially a decent sleeper game with Seattle going to New England, who surprised a lot of people with the way that they played.
Yeah, they did. Nobody picked them except for the one person there.
Yep, Buff was the only person who did it, and honestly, I don't know if he actually thought that they were going to win, or if he just did it as, you know what, no one else is going to, I'm going to try for an upset here. I don't know exactly what his mindset was, but
good on him.
Yeah, either way, I'm here for it. That was a tremendous pick.
Yeah, and obviously Seattle, we don't know how they do on the road there.
The fact that the Seahawks' first pass of the game was an interception is not a good way to start.
No.
And Denver getting 2 safeties on you during the game, not a good way to start the season. So I would be a little bit concerned. But I don't know. What do you think about this game? Because I could honestly see it going either way.
Yeah, to me, I think I'm going to go with Meyer upset. I think I'm going to go with the Patriots at home there and trust Bridgewater and Gerard Mayo to make them 2-0 for shock reasons.
Yeah, you know what? I could honestly see Mayo doing well. Jacoby Brissett, by the way, for the quarterback. I believe Bridgewater is retired now, but I'm going to go ahead and trust that. I do like their run, but being bestie, I am going to go ahead and take Seattle with a split and hope that they can get themselves together. Because I think that Seattle's defense is better than Cincinnati, and I think that New England is going to have more difficulties with that. And if Seattle can just, keep it on the ground and run with Kenneth Walker a little bit, I think they'll have a much better time. So there is split number 2. Next up, I'm very interested in this one. We have the Giants and Washington.
Yeah, obviously this is the must-miss game of the week there because both teams are tanking in the toilet there.
Yeah, I'm surprised that this one isn't the Amazon Prime game, to be fair, because they always seem to get absolutely hosed when it comes to the schedules. So the fact that they ended up getting Buffalo and Miami and not this dumpster fire of a game is astounding.
Exactly there. But I'll make this short and sweet there. Washington at home to beat the Giants there.
Yeah, yes, I agree with you. I'm not taking Washington. And this one's probably a no-brainer as well. Let's not waste too much time. We've got the Chargers going to Carolina. Bryce Young did Bryce Young things.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot there. Jim Harbaugh, yay, good job, woo. Chargers win?
Yeah, obviously, no-brainer.
Yeah. Let's just carry on, pushing forth.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Cleveland and Jacksonville. This one could be interesting, depending on what Cleveland does at the QB position.
Sleeper game this week. There depends on if Deshaun Watson can correct the mistakes there. But
I don't know.
There, obviously, that's no-brainer. Trevor Lawrence at home there to beat the Browns.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the home team as well on this one, pretty much just because they're at home. But also, I don't really see the Browns having a whole lot. I think maybe they're going to get cursed by the Kadarius Toney issue here, because they signed him to be a wide receiver. And so we've got, Deshaun Watson, who does lovely things, who might be having issues here directly.
Mm-hmm.
And the defense, I think, will have an easier time with Jacksonville than they did with Dallas. So it'll be close, but I am agreeing with you, and I'll take Jacksonville in a rebound. Speaking of rebounds, though, we have Baltimore, a very angry Baltimore, hosting the Raiders.
Yeah,
I am expecting Isaiah Likely to pop off just because of how the game ended.
True, there, yeah. Hopefully he can correct the mistake there he made at the end of last week's game there.
Yeah, because if he would have planted a little bit more, been more aware of his surroundings and known where the boundary line was of the end zone, they easily would have been able to win that game. Although I seen Harbaugh signaling going for 2.
Yeah.
Instead of tying it up, which concerned me. It was a moot point because obviously, of course, his toe was out, but still, the fact that you're playing that aggressively with a team like the Chiefs rather than trying to play it smart, that personally concerned me. I've seen enough of risky business with Dan Campbell to know that it doesn't exactly pan out all the time.
It never does.
Well, it rarely does. So I would have been a little bit peeved if they would have gone for 2 and missed, and they lost by 1.
True.
But I do want to make one kind of talking point with this game, or with the Ravens in general. Lamar Jackson kind of seemed to miss some throws that he shouldn't have for the amount of money that he's being paid.
True.
There was a wide open receiver in the end zone, and he threw behind him.
Mm-hmm.
There was another missed throw as well in the middle of the field that he threw off. So I would be a little concerned for me personally. I know Ravens faithful has his back, of course, and he's going to more than earn his money with his legs for sure. But as somebody who prefers pocket passers, and Chris Collinsworth making me laugh and cringe calling Lamar Jackson, he's always been a pocket passer.
Yeah.
Has he though?
Yeah. The question is for you there. What do you think of your old friend Derrick Henry there with the Ravens?
I'm apprehensive still. He is still my King Henry, of course, but I think that he's kind of bait at this point. He ran well when he did get the ball. They used him effectively. He was a good third down back, a good power back, like he always is. But I'm gonna withhold my judgment on how they use him until I start seeing more production as the weeks go by. But right now, I have a bad feeling that he's gonna be bait for Lamar Jackson runs, and I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. So obviously, we'll probably be in agreement to take the Ravens at home.
Yeah, I think the Ravens are mad, and I feel bad for Vegas, especially losing the way that they did to the Chargers. Now they're going to be 0-2, facing Harbaughs. That's kind of funny. They faced both Harbaughs back-to-back weeks. That's
Sure.
That's a bad start to the season for those guys. Next up, we have the Rams, soft, going to Arizona to face the Cardinals, who are kind of surprising.
Yeah, they surprised me there last week. Their way they made it close against the Bills there.
Yeah, they stayed in the game more than I would have thought, but they really need to work out the chemistry between Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr., because Marvin Harrison Jr. was wide open in the end zone, and Murray checked down and threw it short to a different receiver when he was easily able to score. So, that's more on Murray, I think, than anything. Just his ability to see the field over the line and actually, do all of his reads. I think that's more a talk about his ability than anything.
Sure.
And then over on the Rams side, they're going to have a much easier time with Arizona than they did Detroit.
True. Yeah, so. But they're down one man with Puka Nacua. They're out there with injury.
That is very true. It's going to be the Cooper Cup show and Kyron Williams on the run game for sure. But to be fair, they kept it very competitive with Detroit in a very hostile environment without Puka Nacua for most of the game. So I think that they'll be okay for a little while here.
Mm-hmm. But for me there, I'm going with another minor upset. I'm going to go with the Rams on the road to upset the Cardinals.
Okay, yeah, I took the Rams too. I didn't really consider that much of an upset. This could just be because I don't like Kyler Murray as a quarterback. But I'm in agreement. I'm going to take the Rams on the road as well. I know that maybe they're not the best on the road, and starting on the road 2 weeks in a row might be kind of rough, but I'm going to have this be a good bounce-back game for them, especially being against a division rival. I think it's a good opportunity. Okay, this one, I am so scared for this game. Mm-hmm. I'm so scared. We have the Steelers, my Watt, going to Denver. I'm so scared for this game because now that all the hype is with the Steelers,
true,
this might be the game that they just don't do what they should.
True. Obviously, Steelers, they're Justin Fields came in the relief there of Russell Wilson there. He did okay there, but no offensive touchdowns. It was all field goals they scored there.
Yeah, Boswell MVP 100%. And TJ Watt, thank you for existing. I appreciate you. Yeah. But Denver, honestly, Denver was pretty surprising. Their defense getting the scores and hanging in.
Yeah, I gotta give Bo Nix credit there because he did really well there.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, there he showed me something there I wasn't expecting there.
Yeah, I will admit, he was the fact that he stayed in the game with Seattle as much as he did. I will definitely give them credit for that. I'm still a little bit bitter, and I might make a little bit of a spite pick because of who they made their third string quarterback instead of the actual backup, but that's just me. So that and the fact that I said I was going to go ahead and just trust in Watt, I'm taking the Steelers on the road, but I think this one is going to be very sketchy. Yeah. Very, very sketchy.
But for me there, I'm going to go with a big time upset. I'm going to go with the Broncos at home and trust Bo Nix there to have a good game for Sean Payton there, and they'll shock the Pittsburgh Steelers there. So that's our third split of the week.
It is. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm with you on that. I'm going to try to trust my newfound strategy with Pickems, and we're going to see how it goes. Okay, so next up we have what is always a really fun kind of pseudo rivalry game. We have the Bengals and Kansas City.
Yeah, obviously, Bengals were a huge disappointment there against the Patriots there.
They really were.
Yeah. The question was, where was Jamar Chase all game there?
I don't know. Being a diva until he gets his money? Yeah, maybe that was an option. I could see him being a Randy Moss of today, where he's not going to ball out. Maybe he won't reach for passes that he could otherwise get. He'll short arm it a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I think like I said, it was Burrow wasn't really 100%. He kept feeling his wrist out. It was the classic week 1 curse, and their defense didn't show up like at all. So I don't know.
And obviously this week they're in tough there against a strong Kansas City team there.
Yeah, I have a bonus regret of the week with Kansas City, and that is my Super Bowl pick not including them, because I kind of should have, because literally everything in me was saying Kansas City 3-peat, Kansas City 3-peat, Kansas City 3-peat. And I decided to go bold, right? And I'm never the bold one, but I decided to not, and I'm regretting that. But I'm really excited for the Chiefs because they have Xavier Worthy, and this kid is so exciting to watch. I'm very, very happy to see him on the field, and the fact that he got 2 touchdowns in his debut, I love it.
Yeah, but obviously we're going to both be in agreement to take the Chiefs at home to dominate the Bengals.
Yeah, 100%. I expect it to be more of the same as they performed against the Ravens, just better. Honestly, I think their defense is going to do well against the Bengals.
Sure.
Their offense, I don't think, can really be stopped. So, yeah, 100% we are in agreement.
Yep.
Now, we have the Sunday Night Football game when the Bears go to Houston to take on the Strouds.
Yeah. Obviously, with the Bears there, Caleb Williams has an impressive debut there, even though he struggled most of the game there.
Yeah, this is what I want to talk about. Okay, so I missed my opportunity when we were doing our week 1 recaps, so I'm going to go ahead and take my chance here.
Yeah,
Caleb Williams threw 93 to 94 yards passing the entire game. The Bears won against the Titans because of Will Levis and because of their defense and their special teams. So
obviously,
the fact that we're going to try to tout Caleb Williams as this like savior of the franchise when he kind of got carried by the other side of the ball, that doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, just for all those Caleb Williams fans, just be patient there. He's going to go through his growing pains the first year, and then maybe within a couple of years there, he might do a lot better there.
I mean, you never know. You never know. Maybe he won't be a total failure in 3 years. Maybe the Bears finally got it right. I just wanted to make that known that he did not win that game. The defense won that game, and he didn't even throw for 100 yards. His QB rating was 55 with a completion percentage of 48. So he's not exactly accurate, and it's just meh for me. And it's not just because I'm a frick the Bears kind of fan. His performance was not that great.
I'd say average at best there.
Yeah, I would say average. Average is fine, especially because he's a rookie. It was his first NFL game. I will give him the benefit of the doubt on that.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to put it out there that the Bears' defense was very good, and Will Levis was very bad, and that was kind of the problem.
Yeah.
But now that that's out of the way.
Yeah, but obviously they might struggle this week against a really tough Texans team with C.J. Stroud at the helm. And Stephon Diggs there did really well, and so did Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I was kind of pleased to see that Joe Mixon did decent in that game. I was kind of not really concerned, but I was curious how he would do down there, being away from Cincinnati and trying to replace Singletary, because Singletary did pretty decent last year for Houston. So I was curious. And then Stephon Diggs, I was curious how many passes he would catch in comparison to a young upstart like Tank Dell. So I don't know. I don't really like Stephon Diggs. Still to this day, I don't. But
jury's out on.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. But sure. In this case, 100%, if Stephon Diggs popping off and having himself a career day will get them the win over Chicago, I'm here for it. And go ahead. Sure. So I'm taking Houston.
100% agreement with this there.
Yeah, I'm 100% taking Houston. So,
sure.
Yay. So final game, we have Battle of the Birds. Dino's being nice.
Dino might like.
Dino's being nice. He didn't yell at me when I said that. We are good. We have the Falcons and the Eagles.
Yeah. Obviously, with the Falcons there, Kirk Cousins was a huge disappointment last week there.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't as big of a disappointment as Will Levis, but I'll give it to you. He was disappointing in his Falcons debut. For sure. But then again, like, he had a really, really hard defense. I mean, when TJ Watt's just in your face that often, there's not a whole lot you can do but what he did.
Yeah. And obviously this week's going to get way worse with the Eagles there. Obviously, the main story for the Eagles was the terrific play of Saquon Barkley there in this Eagles debut.
Yeah, I think he scored 3 touchdowns. So that was very good. Good on him. It was a really good acquisition. And again, the fact that they got him from a division rival is just it's so gross, but I kind of love it. We have a lot of that this year. We have Saquon Barkley from Giants to Eagles. We have Aaron Jones from Packers to Vikings. So it's definitely going to be interesting to watch those games play out. Now, for Atlanta's sake, they did hold the Steelers to only field goals.
Sure.
But the Steelers' offense is a far cry from Philadelphia's offense.
Sure.
So I think they're in some trouble this week.
Sure. So obviously we'll probably be in agreement and take the Eagles at home to beat the Falcons?
Yeah, 100%. We definitely are. I feel bad for Atlanta this week, but if they can somehow manage to pull off the upset, it will be very, very fun.
Sure.
So now that we are finished with our recaps and picks,
time to find out how our friends are going to do this week.
Indeed. Okay. So, per the usual, we are going in order of when they joined the Versus series. So, first up, we have John, who went with the Dolphins, the Cowboys, the Lions, Colts, Jets, 49ers, Seahawks, Giants, Chargers, Jaguars, Ravens, Rams, and Broncos. He went with the Chiefs, saying that the Bengals will now be 1-11 for weeks 1 and 2 in the Zach Taylor era. And then he went with the Texans and the Eagles. And then next up we have SDS, who took the Bills, 49ers, Seahawks, Commanders, Chargers, Cowboys, Colts, Jags, Jets, again boo, Lions, Ravens, Cardinals, Chiefs, Steelers, Texans, and Eagles. And then next we have Troll, who took the Dolphins, Niners, Patriots, Giants, Chargers, Saints in an upset over the Cowboys, Colts, Jags, Titans, Lions, Ravens, Cardinals, Chiefs, Broncos, Texans, and Eagles. Moving on now, we have Buff, who took the Miami Dolphins, Baltimore Ravens, New Orleans Saints, San Francisco 49ers, Green Bay Packers, New England Patriots, Los Angeles Chargers, Cleveland Browns, New York Giants, Detroit Lions, Tennessee Titans, Pittsburgh Steelers, Kansas City Chiefs, Arizona Cardinals, Chicago Bears, so much boo, and the Philadelphia Eagles. And then we've got Papa Agron, Dolphins over Bills, 49ers over Vikings, Patriots over Seahawks with a hot take alert, Commanders over the Giants, Chargers over Panthers, Cowboys over Saints, Colts over Packers, Jaguars over Browns, Jets over Titans, Lions over BUCS, Ravens over the Raiders, Cardinals over Rams, Chiefs over Bengals, Chiefs over Bengals, Steelers over Broncos, Texans over Bears, and Eagles over Falcons in the Battle of the Birds. Alright, next we've got Biggers, who took the Bills, 49ers, Patriots, Commanders, Chargers, Cowboys, Colts, and Browns, Jets, Lions, all caps, Ravens, last game was crap, Rams, Chiefs, Steelers, saying I can't believe I'm picking them, Texans, and Eagles. And then we've got Rev, who took the Bills, the 49ers, the Patriots, and the Commanders. Went with the Chargers, saying probably ain't gonna dominate them like the Saints did, but I'm optimistic. Took the Saints, saying again, F the Cowboys. Took the Colts, the Jags, saying better pay attention. took the Jets, took the Lions, saying that BUCS fans are delusional. All they have are Baker and Evans, which would both be better somewhere else. Took the Rams, the Chiefs, Steelers, Texans, and Eagles to round that off. And then we have Dean, who took the Bills, 49ers, Seahawks, Commanders, and Chargers. Took the Cowboys, saying that he is hoping for the Saints. Took the Colts, Browns, Jets, Lions, Ravens, Rams, Chiefs, and Steelers. Went with da Bears, but knowing he's going to be so wrong, and the Eagles. And then we have Draz, Bills, 49ers, Seahawks, Commanders, Chargers, Saints, Colts, and Jags. Jets, Bucks, Ravens, Cardinals, Chiefs, Steelers, Texans, and Eagles. And then finally, we have our resident bird, not named Dino. We have Owl, who went with the Bills, saying that he thinks it'll be close, but the Bills have the edge. The 49ers, but he thinks it'll be competitive. Ravens, Chargers, Cowboys, Lions, 100% my pride. Mine too, don't worry. The Packers, the Browns, saying it's the battle of the mediocre. The Patriots, because America. The Titans, saying, as a Lions fan, I'm meant to hate the Jets according to Joy's TikTok. One quick point, the Lions do not hate the Jets themselves, we just hate Aaron Rodgers. So that is the reason for the TikTok. Also, if you guys want to follow that, that'll be linked down below as well, and it's also on my channel page. And then we have the Commanders, the Cardinals, and the Broncos, because the Steelers made him mad. The Chiefs, the Texans, and the Falcons to redeem themselves by beating the Eagles.
True.
So that is very interesting.
True.
But we shall see. I'm here for it. That's a very bold pick.
Yeah.
For sure. So, that is going to do that. Once again, thank you for joining me, Steve. Thank you to all of the other 10 participants who joined with this Pick Ems Versus.
Yeah, glad to have everybody aboard, and obviously, as usual, please like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell for all of our future NFL picks on here.
Yep, exactly. So every Thursday at noon Eastern, you will be getting the Pick Ems Versus podcast. It is on the podcast format as well as a normal video, so whatever tickles your fancy, you can go ahead and do that. Also, as you can see on the screen, thanks to our wonderful members of the channel, Richard, Sandra, and George. Thank you so much for the added support, especially Richard, who has been here for 27 months. I cannot believe that you've been a member for that long. Thank you so much for the continued support. And hope you guys have a joy-filled day. Very good luck in your fantasy football teams as well. And good luck in the pick'ems. Let us know down in the comments below what you guys think is going to happen this week. I'm hoping that it was a little bit shorter this time than an hour and a half. So also thanks for being so understanding to the participants for making it a little bit easier on me when it came to reading everything. So I definitely appreciate you. Y'all are MVP. Love you guys. And we will catch you guys next week for week 3 of the NFL Pick Ems Versus.
Thank you all. See you all next week.